The unprovoked attack. Commander Rillick of the Viridian Confederation stared at the defenseless vessel through the viewscreen of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. His chitinous mandibles clicked with anticipation as his four compound eyes studied the clearly marked hospital ship floating peacefully at the edge of the Jupiter defense zone. "Target analysis complete, Commander," reported Lieutenant Kraz, a spindly Viridian with pale blue exoskeleton. "The vessel designated HSV Compassion has minimal defensive capabilities. Life signs indicate approximately 3,000 organic signatures, mostly wounded from the frontier conflicts and medical personnel." Rillick's antennae twitched with satisfaction. "Perfect. The humans need to understand that expansion into contested space will not be tolerated. Their colonies keep spreading like a plague across the Orion Arm, despite our warnings." Sub-Commander Talix approached cautiously, her normally brilliant purple carapace dulled with concern. "Commander, with respect, this vessel bears the universal medical insignia. The Galactic Concord explicitly prohibits." "The Concord," Rillick interrupted, "is not here facing these humans every day. I am. And what I see is a species breaking every agreement, pushing boundaries, colonizing worlds faster than any species we've encountered." He gestured dismissively with his upper limbs. "They must be taught restraint." Talix persisted. "Sir, attacking a medical vessel will have severe diplomatic repercussions. Perhaps a warning shot." "Enough." Rillick's mandibles snapped together loudly. "I've made my decision. These humans only understand force, so force they shall have." He turned to his weapons officer. "Target their life support systems and engines. Fire when ready." The bridge crew exchanged uneasy glances, but no one dared contradict their commander further. The massive Viridian warship's weapons systems powered up, energy readings spiking as they locked onto the vulnerable human vessel. "Weapons locked, Commander," reported the tactical officer. "Fire." Brilliant beams of concentrated energy lanced out from the Eternal Dominion, slicing through the hospital ship's minimal shields like they weren't even there. Secondary explosions bloomed across the vessel's hull as critical systems failed catastrophically. "Sir," called out the communications officer, "we're receiving emergency broadcasts from the Compassion. They're begging for mercy, requesting time to evacuate the wounded." Rillick made a gesture of contempt. "Ignore them. Continue the attack until the vessel is neutralized." The Eternal Dominion fired again and again, methodically tearing the hospital ship apart. On the view screen, escape pods began launching from the dying vessel, tiny specks of light against the darkness of space. "Target those escape pods," ordered Rillick. "No survivors." This time, even the normally stoic Talix couldn't hide her horror. "Sir, that's a direct violation of the most basic rules of warfare. Those pods contain wounded and medical staff." "Rules." Rillick turned all four eyes toward his second-in-command. "There are no rules in survival, Sub-Commander. Either we establish dominance now, or these humans will overrun every habitable world in this sector within a century. Their breeding rate and adaptability make them the greatest threat the Confederation has ever faced." On the view screen, the HSV Compassion broke apart in a final catastrophic explosion. The few remaining escape pods were systematically destroyed by precision fire from the Viridian warship. "Target neutralized, Commander," reported the weapons officer, unable to keep a slight tremor from his voice. "Excellent," Rillick said. "Set course for their colony on Europa. We'll continue our lesson there." As the massive warship banked away from the debris field, a small, nearly undetectable object detached itself from the Compassion's wreckage and latched onto the Eternal Dominion's hull. Nobody noticed the device activate, sending a compressed data burst toward Earth. Nobody, that is, except those waiting for exactly such a signal. Admiral Helena Chen stood before the United Earth Defense Council, her weathered face a mask of controlled fury. Behind her, a holographic display showed the final moments of the HSV Compassion as Viridian weapons tore it apart. 3,247 souls, she said, her voice steady, but cold as steel. Patients suffering from radiation poisoning from the frontier terraforming projects. Doctors, nurses, maintenance workers, even children in the pediatric ward. The council chamber was deathly silent as the replay showed the systematic destruction of the escape pods. The Viridian Confederation's message couldn't be clearer. Admiral Chen continued, "They don't recognize our right to exist. They don't honor the universal conventions of warfare, and they believe we are too weak to respond." Council President Mohandas leaned forward, his face grave. "We've attempted contact through diplomatic channels. They're ignoring all communication." "Of course they are," said General Jackson, his lined face grim with determination. "The Confederation has subjugated 7 species in the last 50 years. For them, diplomacy is just a stalling tactic while they position their fleets." Admiral Chen nodded. "The tracking device Commander Rodriguez managed to attach to their hull during the attack confirms they're heading toward Europa. Estimated arrival, 18 hours. Can we evacuate the colonies?" asked Counselor Nadia Petrova. "Some, not all," Chen replied. "There are over 3 million colonists on Europa now. Our evacuation capacity would save maybe 500,000 at best." President Mohandas's dark eyes narrowed. "Then it seems we have no choice. Admiral Chen, you have command authorization. Protocol Prometheus is now active." A murmur spread around the room. Protocol Prometheus had never been enacted before, had been developed with the hope it would never be needed. Admiral Chen straightened her back. "Thank you, Mr. President. For the record, I want it noted that once initiated, Prometheus cannot be recalled." "We understand, Admiral," Mohandas said solemnly. "God help us all." As the council filed out, General Jackson stayed behind with Chen. "Do you think they have any idea what they just authorized?" he asked quietly. Chen's lips curved into something between a smile and a snarl. "No, and neither does the Viridian Confederation, but they're about to find out." Sub-Commander Talix couldn't shake her uneasiness as she studied the sensor logs in her private quarters. Something about the humans' response to the hospital ship's destruction troubled her. Initially, there had been what you'd expect: emergency broadcasts, distress calls, confused military chatter. Then, nothing. Complete communication silence across their entire system, except for encrypted bursts that even the Confederation's advanced algorithms couldn't crack. It was as if someone had transformed chaos into purpose with a single command. The door to her quarters hissed open, and Commander Rillick strode in without announcing himself, a privilege of rank. "Still obsessing over the humans, Sub-Commander?" he asked, his tone mocking. "We'll reach Europa in less than 12 hours. You should be preparing the landing parties, not brooding in your quarters." "Sir, something isn't right," Talix said, displaying her findings. "Look at these readings from our long-range scanners." Rillick glanced at her display with obvious impatience. "What am I supposed to be seeing?" "That's just it, sir. We're not seeing anything. No transport ships fleeing Europa. No defensive positions being established. It's as if they're simply waiting. Or they've accepted their inevitable defeat," Rillick said with a dismissive gesture. "Smart of them, really. Surrender will make the occupation much easier." Talix changed tactics. "What about the rest of their system? The Luna base, the Mars colonies, their mining operations in the asteroid belt?" "All silent." Rillick finished for her. "Is your point, Sub-Commander?" "My point, sir, is that this isn't natural behavior for a species under attack. When we approached the Zentari, they scattered their forces to protect as many civilian centers as possible. When we fought the Borrelians, they concentrated their fleet around their homeworld. These humans," she gestured at the display, "they're doing neither." Rillick made a dismissive sound. "Perhaps our reputation precedes us. The destruction of their hospital ship was quite thorough." "That's another thing, sir," Talix pressed. "The ship's name, Compassion. Don't you find that significant?" "It's just a word, Sub-Commander. It's a concept, sir, one that we violated. In all previous conflicts, we've observed the universal conventions. We've never targeted medical facilities. Rillick's upper eyes narrowed dangerously. Are you questioning my tactical decisions, Sub-Commander Talix? Talix hesitated, then straightened her posture. Yes, sir. I believe attacking their hospital ship may have been a grave strategic error. Noted, Rillick said coldly. Now return to your duties, and the tactical officer's voice cut through the room's comm system. Commander, we're detecting multiple energy signatures emerging from behind Earth's moon. Rillick rushed back to the bridge with Talix close behind. The main view screen showed dozens of lights appearing from Luna's shadow, forming a precise attack formation. Analysis, Rillick demanded. The tactical officer looked confused. Sir, they appear to be warships, but they don't match any known human vessel configurations in our database. How many? Initial count is 127 ships, sir, and more appearing. Rillick's mandibles clicked rapidly in surprise. Impossible. Earth's fleet consists of 38 combat-capable vessels, and most of those are light patrol ships. Talix moved to a sensor station, pushing aside a junior officer. These aren't patrol ships, Commander. These readings suggest heavy weaponry and their drive signatures. I've never seen anything like this. On the screen, the fleet of unknown ships had grown to over 200, arranging themselves into a perfect attack formation. Sir, the communications officer called out, we're receiving a transmission from the lead vessel. Audio only. Let's hear what pathetic threats they have, Rillick said, though his voice lacked its usual confidence. A calm, almost conversational human voice filled the bridge. Viridian vessel Eternal Dominion. This is Admiral Helena Chen of Earth Fleet Command. You fired on a hospital ship. I want you to know that was a mistake you won't live long enough to regret. Humanity's wrath unveiled. Rillick forced a laugh, though the sound was hollow even to his own hearing. Bold words from a primitive species. You should know the full might of the Viridian Confederation will descend upon your world when. We're not interested in your threats, Commander Rillick, the human interrupted, causing murmurs among the bridge crew. How did they know Rillick's name? You believe you understand humanity based on your limited observations. Admiral Chen continued. You don't. What you're seeing now is Protocol Prometheus. For the past 20 years, while maintaining a public fleet of a few dozen ships, we've been building something else entirely. The view screen shifted to show the Earth fleet in its entirety. Hundreds of ships now arranged in perfect formation, their hulls bristling with weapons unlike anything in Confederation archives. You see, Commander, Admiral Chen's voice continued, now tinged with unmistakable menace. Humanity has a long, bloody history of warfare among ourselves. When we unified and looked to the stars, we hoped for peace, but we prepared for war. Always. Talix felt her exoskeleton contract with the first true fear she'd experienced in her military career. Sir, she whispered to Rillick, we should retreat and alert the Confederation Council. Rillick seemed frozen, his compound eyes fixed on the impossible armada before them. The HSV Compassion wasn't just a hospital ship. Chen's voice continued. It was named as a reminder of something we try to value. Mercy for the wounded and innocent. By destroying it, you didn't just kill our people. You killed any compassion we might have shown the Confederation. Rillick finally found his voice. This is absurd. You can't possibly have hidden a fleet of this size. Our intelligence, your intelligence, Chen cut him off again, saw exactly what we wanted you to see. That's the thing about humans, Commander. We're not just adaptable, we're deceptive. Throughout our history, maintaining the element of surprise has been a cornerstone of our military doctrine. On the view screen, the massive human fleet began to move, spreading out in a classic encirclement pattern. Sir, the tactical officer called out in alarm. We're detecting energy buildups across their fleet. They're charging weapons. Raise shields. Prepare evasive maneuvers. Rylak ordered, panic edging into his voice. Too late for that, Admiral Chen said, as if she could see the chaos on the Viridian Bridge. Your ship has been targeted by 17 different vessels. But before we fire, I want you to understand something fundamental about humanity that your species clearly missed in your intelligence gathering. The view screen split, showing images from Earth's history, ancient battles, modern wars, soldiers and civilians standing amid ruins but unbowed. We protect our own, Chen continued. Throughout our bloody history, one principle has remained constant. Attack our healers, our children, our innocents, and there will be no place in the galaxy you can hide from our retribution. Rylak's mandibles clicked rapidly in agitation. Wait, we can negotiate. That opportunity died with the compassion, Chen replied coldly. But we're not like you, Commander. We won't target your escape pods. The first volley from the human fleet struck the Eternal Dominion with devastating precision. Alarms blared across the bridge as systems failed catastrophically. Shields down to 12%, shouted the defensive systems officer. Hull breaches on decks 3 through 7. Impossible, Rylak muttered, watching as his mighty warship was systematically dismantled by weapons that shouldn't exist. How could they hide this? How could we not know? Telix rushed to the command console. Sir, we need to abandon ship. The reactor containment is failing. Rylak nodded numbly, finally accepting the reality of their situation. All hands, abandon ship. Repeat, all hands to escape pods immediately. As the crew scrambled to evacuate, Rylak turned to Telix. You were right, Sub-Commander. It was a mistake. A fatal one, she agreed grimly. Across the Eternal Dominion, escape pods launched in desperate succession as the massive warship began to break apart. True to Admiral Chen's word, the human fleet allowed the pods to flee, focusing their fire solely on the Viridian vessel until it exploded in a brilliant flash of light. On the bridge of the UES Retribution, Admiral Chen watched impassively as the enemy flagship was destroyed. Around her, the bridge crew maintained professional silence. No cheers, no celebration. Admiral, her first officer said quietly, the Viridian escape pods are requesting pickup and medical assistance. Chen nodded. Grant their request, and prepare a transmission to the Viridian Confederation homeworld. What's the message, Admiral? Chen's eyes were cold as she turned to face her officer. The same message we just delivered to Commander Rylak, but with more detail. I want them to understand exactly why their flagship was destroyed and what will happen if they ever attack another human settlement. And the Prometheus Protocol, Admiral. Do we maintain fleet visibility now that the Viridians know of our capabilities? Chen considered this for a moment. No. Return half the fleet to the shadow bases. The Viridians weren't the only ones watching us, and I want any other potential hostiles to wonder just how many more ships we might have hidden away. As the human armada began to disperse, a message was broadcast across all frequencies, directed toward the Viridian homeworld over 80 light-years distant. To the Viridian Confederation Council, your flagship Eternal Dominion has been destroyed in response to its unprovoked attack on our hospital ship. Commander Rylak and his crew have been taken into custody. This was a proportional response to their war crime. Let me be perfectly clear about humanity's position going forward. We desire peace with all spacefaring species, but we are prepared for war with any who threaten us. The fleet you witness today represents only a fraction of our military capability, and now you know that we can keep secrets. Diplomatic channels remain open if you wish to negotiate borders and non-aggression pacts. We await your response. 6 months later, Sub-Commander, now Emissary, Telix stood before the Earth Defense Council, her purple carapace gleaming under the chamber's lights. The Confederation Council extends its formal apologies for the actions of Commander Rylak, she said, her translator rendering her clicks and chirps into smooth English. We acknowledge that attacking your medical vessel violated all principles of civilized warfare and warranted your response. President Mohandas nodded gravely, and the border dispute that allegedly prompted this aggression. The Confederation is prepared to recognize all current human settlements and establish a neutral zone between our territories, Talix replied. Additionally, we propose a cultural exchange program to better understand one another and prevent future misunderstandings. Admiral Chen, seated to the president's right, leaned forward, and your military posture toward Earth. Talix's antennae dipped in what humans had learned was a gesture of respect among Viridians. The Confederation has reassessed its strategic position regarding humanity. We recognize your species as equals and have no desire for further conflict. What Talix didn't say, what didn't need to be said, was that the Viridian military had been utterly terrified by the revelation of Earth's hidden fleet. If humans could conceal such power for decades, what else might they be hiding? The Confederation had decided, unanimously, that finding out would be too costly. As the peace treaty was signed and the formal proceedings concluded, Admiral Chen approached Talix privately. You knew attacking the Compassion was wrong, Chen said. You tried to stop him. Talix's compound eyes studied the human admiral. Yes, but I failed to prevent it. How did you know? The survivors from your escape pods told us. They spoke highly of you. Talix's mandibles clicked softly. There's something I've wanted to ask since that day. The fleet that destroyed our ship, was that truly the extent of your hidden forces, or were you bluffing? For the first time since their encounter began, Admiral Chen smiled. A small, enigmatic expression revealed nothing. That, Emissary Talix, is a question I hope your people never need to have answered.